now what we are going to do, we are going to create a simple React application which is going to interact with our API. Okay, so in order to create the React application, as we know, like I will okay, and before that, one more thing, like for this application, like the CRUD application which we are going to interact with the API. So already I have done the basic form designing, so maybe I will open this one. So reveal in a finder, and I will, okay, so this is a simple form. Okay, this is like a very simple form. This I have designed already with the using of HTML and CSS. Okay, so this one we are going to integrate with our React application. So first we need to create the React application, correct? So in order to do that, I will create a React application using the command prompt. So I am opening this folder using the command prompt, and here I will mention npx create React app, and here I will mention the app or something. Okay, whatever the name you want, maybe I will mention CRUD app. Sorry, CRUD app. Okay, enter. So this will create the application. Okay, let it be. Okay, as you can see here. Okay, so now the application is created. I'm navigating to the particular folder. Okay, so meanwhile I've opened this application in the VS Code. So this is application, right? So I'm just opening this folder. Okay, so here what we are going to do, we are going to create a file called user creation or something, maybe user.js. okay, this is a simple file I'm creating, and okay, I'm creating a simple function component, function user. Okay, so this function user, or maybe as it is main component, shall we create a class component? Okay, maybe I will create a class component, class user. As we know in the React, that both the file name and then this one has to be the same thing, which means the same name, and like in Java, and it should, and as it is in class component, it should be extents of React dot component, and it should import from the particular library. Render function. Okay, inside the render function, it should return this one. Here I will mention, oh sorry, here I will mention the okay, first initially just we will check whether it is working or not. So this is sample output. Okay, so this is what I am mentioning here. Let me save it. So now I am going to export this one, because as we know, export default user. So this will, this one, okay, now copy it and go to our app.js, which is the main one. So I will remove all the codes which is available here. Okay, so here I need to mention the user which we have created. Save the file. I think yes, this is fine. And anything we need to do, I think we need to import the this one. Okay, let me run the program. Let's see if it is working or not. So ls yes npm start, which will run the application. Okay, as you can see guys, once again. Okay, so now I have added this line which helps us to import the library for React. Import the React library. Okay, so here what I am going to do, now I am going to run the application. So we all know, in order to run the React application, we need the command called npm start. By providing the command, this will run the React application. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a simple output which is coming from the class component. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open the form or the design which we have done. Okay, so here this is simple HTML and CSS. Okay, just to copy this, the body content. Oh my god, once again, and copy, and I will put it inside the user this one. Okay, so as we know, the city has lots of issues, of course, because React will not allow for this one. Okay, let me do all these things. This id handle is not needed. Okay, it is working fine. Now we need to include the CSS. So the CSS is, this is a CSS. So what I'm going to do, I will put the CSS into our app CSS, which is the main CSS. I will remove the existing coding and I will paste this file. And as you can see here, the output is working fine. So this is a simple form which we have created. Okay, so now we need to go to our database which we have done in the Java, right? So sorry. Okay, so name, address, email, mobile, DOB. This is the field which we need to connect. So name, email, what is the next one? Mobile number and then date of birth. So let me change the field as per the requirement or the API. Yes, so name, email, here I will change as mobile number and then date of birth. Okay, and then for the date of birth, I think by default it has a field called date, so this I will use it. And here also I will change it to mobile. I think this is not needed. I think this might be used in the okay, maybe this ID, all these things we will remove it, guys, because this is not needed. As it is in React, we will have a different way of data binding, so this we will remove it. Okay, let me save it. Okay, this also we will remove it because it's not needed. All these things. Name, address, what is the email address? Okay, name, address, email, mobile, DOB. Name, address, email, mobile, DOB. That's it, right? Oh, there's a separate address is also there. Okay, it's okay. So this is the details which we are expecting from the particular API. Okay, this is a simple form designing which has this name, email, address, mobile, DOB. And if I go to this page and refresh it, you can see here this is the one. But why it is not refreshing? Because we are working on the other page. Let me close this one, go to the React application. Okay, I have edited in the wrong place. Let me paste this one, and again the same issue. I need to close it, save it, and go here. Yes, it is fine. I think this is because this date alone looks different. Maybe I will create one CSS here. Class date. This we will add the CSS because I think in the CSS they might have this input type text somewhere they have added. Yes, so here I will do because of this one. Okay, I think this is not needed. Okay, because initially it has first name and last name, right? Because of this thing it becomes very small. Okay, I think now it will work. Okay guys, as you can see here, the form has designed with the user creation for the API integration. As we know, it's a CRUD application. Maybe we will add some more title also here. CRUD application. We can say React CRUD app. This is a title, and it will not work because this is we can say page title. This page title we need to provide some CSS, so go to the CSS. Okay, as you can see here, like we have created a simple HTML form in the React, so which we need to integrate our API. Okay, so fine. So before that we will change some simple things. So instead of this register, we will mention like create. Okay, so we'll mention like create user, save it and refresh it. Okay, so yes, this is a user creation. By providing the details and by clicking this button, it will call the API. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to integrate the API. So maybe first we will write the function, then the last we will integrate the API. Okay, so here as we all know, we need to use the on-click functionality. So in order to call the function, okay, as it is in React the class component, we need to create the function. So here I will mention like call API. Okay, so here, and first we need to mention the state. So as we know, in the React class component we need to mention the state to bind the variable. So name and what are the variables means name, email, address, mobile number, date of birth. So these are all the fields I will mention here: name, email, mobile number, DOB, and then address. Okay, so these are all the these are all the field which we are having here. Now what we are going to do, we are going to add this field to the data to the field to the sorry to the input box. Okay, which means whenever I'm changing this text box, it has to call the this dot set state, and as we all know, here we need to mention the name, and this has to be e dot target dot value. Okay, so now let me remove this one and I will mention it here for email address mobile number, and here I will mention the mobile number, and here I will mention the address, and here I will mention the email. Sorry, spelling mistake. Okay, save it, and here we need to, okay, this is also database DOB. Okay, so yes, name, email address, mobile, DOB, name, email address, DOB. Okay, it's all fine. And whenever I'm clicking this function, it should be button because it will fine. So now call API, or we can say okay. So here what we are going to do, we need to use the fetch method. Okay, it's your wish what type of method we are using. I'm just mentioning a dummy URL here. Okay, so as of now, just for the purposes, and of course it has to be post only because this is a registration API, right? So post method, and do we need to mention anything? Okay, I think then we need to get the response. So first we need to parse the JSON, and then we need to call the rest dot, maybe here we need to mention the response of the users list. Okay, so here whatever the response we are getting, I think it may be success or failure, that we need to handle success or failure. Okay, so it is fine. This is one scenario. Next scenario is, maybe we can say registration API. Instead of call API, we can say register API. Okay, next we are going to have one more API called get users. What this will do, whenever the page gets loaded, this method will trigger all the users from the particular API. So here also we are going to use the same fetch API. So fetch method. Okay, URL, it should be get, as we all know, because get users means it has to be get only. This one. Okay, so now you may have a doubt like, so what are we going to do means sorry, oh, it has lots of issues. This class component, I need to mention this one. Okay, so now what are we trying to do is, this is a simple form. By clicking the create user, it will call the function called a register API. So this register API will call on dummy URL that we are going to integrate, but as of now we are having only a simple URL. Okay, and once we have done this portion, if the success response came, we need to list the new users below this page, or we can say somewhere in the page we need to list the users. Okay, this is one scenario. One more scenario, if the users are already available in the database, we need to load the users during the page load, correct? So for this thing we are having a get user method. So this method has to be used to get all the users from the particular API. So as we know, get users means it has to be get only, so I am mentioning the get, and once the response came and we need to do all these things, I think it should be rest true, because to differentiate all these things. Okay, so maybe I will move this one in the below, and here also this one. Okay, so now once the registration is completed, we need to call the get user method to refresh the users. So get user, this will call this one, and here in the get user method, once the response came, we need to mention the data inside the state variable, which will refresh the data. Okay, so here we can have a user list, so this one. Okay, so here this is the array. So now what we are going to do, this dot set state, which helps us to set the value, sorry, it has to be, what is the user list? So here rest true of user list. Okay, just mentioning I'm here, but actually it has to be something like different. Okay, list. So this is a expected server response, but we don't know because still we didn't integrate any API. So we can say server response. Let me save it. Okay, so fine. Okay, so this is a simple API. By clicking the register, it will call the register, and once the success came, it will call the get user method, which will refresh the user. And one more thing, as we all know, during the page load also it should load the users, right? So for this thing I'm going to have a constructor. So this constructor, as we all know, that will be triggered during the page load itself. So here also I will mention this get user, but I am not calling, I am just mentioning this method, and I will comment it because we need to integrate with our API, or we need to start the server. Okay, let me save it. Okay, so now I think as we know, CRUD application totally 4 operations. So in the CRUD, creating the user, reading the user, updation, deletion. So the creation is completed and the reading is also completed. The next one is about the deletion and then updation. Okay, so maybe for the deletion and the updation, I think okay, first I will implement the deletion, delete user. Okay, for the delete user, mostly all the API will expect only the ID of the particular user. So okay, I think it should be method of delete mapping, I think so. Okay, this I am mentioning. Yeah guys, I think one more thing, yeah, whenever the register method is post, we need to pass one more argument called body, right? Okay, yeah, this I didn't mention. Okay, I will mention the params, because post means it has to be this valid thing, and we need to json.stringify. Here I need to mention the params. Okay, so now this body should come for delete also, I think so. One second. Okay, so for the method there is no separate parameter, as we all know, because this does not have anything, and params also we have to mention like this. Okay, fine, I think everything is working fine. And delete also, once the response came with the proper success response, we need to refresh the user list. Okay, it is also fine. Maybe I will comment it as of now. Okay, so I think yeah, okay, so register API, get user, delete user. The last one is about the update user. Update user. Okay, so update, how can we able to do? So I think for the updation, what we can do is, shall we create any other thing? Okay, so updation means like we will have a simple edit icon under the user, so then we will implement it. Okay, so as of now, first we will check whether everything is working fine or not. Okay, so let me comment this update as of now. Okay, yeah guys, I think yes, now we will see the output. Okay, okay guys, so fine. So now our Java application is running, as you can see here, and I have added a simple cars configuration in order to connect the different front-end application to our Spring Boot. I have mentioned that this will allow whatever the request is coming to our Spring Boot application. Okay, so this is not the proper way, but as it is simple tutorial, I am just mentioning all this configuration to accept the request from the different front-end applications. Okay, so the cars is mainly is coming because our Spring Boot is running on the different port number, and then a React application is running on the different port number. Okay, so the browser will throw the error. So to avoid this issue, I am just adding this configuration in order to accept the React request from the browser. Okay, so now go to our browser application, and sorry, yeah, so here I need to mention the get URL http localhost 8080 user/list, and as we are calling this get user from the constructor, so which will called during the page load itself, and I'm just mentioning the response in the console. That's it, I didn't do anything. So now go to the browser and let me refresh it, and once again, so let me, yeah, so go to the console. As you can see here, I am getting the response here. Okay, that's it. So this is what about the response which we are getting from the particular API, and here it is a direct response. Okay, so directly we can assign the data. So name, address, email, mobile. Okay, these are all the details are coming from the API. So now what we are going to do, we are going to set the value. So already we are having a state, so I think we don't need to mention anything, so we can directly set the value to the particular user list2. So now we are setting the value to the variable called user list state variable. Okay, so now what we need to do, we need to list out the user list to our API. sorry, in the UI. So here we need to mention the map API, which will do the iteration based on this one. So here this dot state dot user list dot map, correct? So this map will have two things. So one is the object comma, next one is about the index. Okay, so let me wrap this one, and as it is arrow function to parse the data, I'm using one. Okay, here whatever the data you want, that we can mention it here. Maybe I will mention table or tr, whatever it may be. So okay, so I will have a simple div here as of now. I don't know what tag I need to use, but I'm mentioning a div here. Okay, so inside the div I need to close it, and as we know in the React we need to return the data in order to display. So okay, so here in order to display the data I need to have a data binding. So object dot name, let's see will it work or not. Okay, yeah, as you can see guys, it is working fine. So okay, yes, so yes, name, maybe we can create a simple table, right, in order to show the data. So we can have a table, and in the table we will have a t head, and it has a t row, things, and t body will be closed, table will be closed. Let me save it and go here. Yes, you guys, as you can see here, it is working fine. These are all the existing data which is working fine. Maybe I will add a simple border here. I'm adding a simple class and user list, and this is the app CSS. So border 1 pixel solid. Okay, maybe I will add a TD also. I think we have to do something. Okay, I will do it later. Okay, name, email, address, mobile number, is everything working fine. If you want to have some other different color for the T head, the title of this table, we can have something else, something like color only for the head. Red color, I'm adding a TD. Okay, so only for the TD it has some different color to looks as it is a title. Okay, the next action here in the table, we will have one more column called action, so which helps us to either edit or delete. Okay, so here I will have one more TD. So here we need to add one more button or icon, but as of now I am adding a simple button called edit, and there is one more button called delete. So copy, and I will paste as delete, save it. Okay, so here we are having a two different button. I think maybe we will have a simple icon also, but as of now, okay, this is just for simple thing only, no. Okay, this has two actions. Okay, fine. So this is what are the simple button which helps us to do edit or delete. If you want, we can have a action button. I am adding a simple class name, and this also I will add a class name here, and this class name we will add some CSS. Let me check whether it is working or not. Okay, I think we need to increase the that table size. Okay, that we will see how to increase the size later. Okay guys, so now it is listing the users is completed, creating the user, and then deleting the user. I think delete is very easy only, right? By calling this delete method, it works. So I think we can call this method called delete. I think the method is already implemented, no? So if you go to the delete user, yes, it is working fine. So this is the delete user method. I think I will call this method from here as on click, and as we know this is arrow function. I need to call this function, call this dot delete user, and here I need to pass the object itself. This object will have all the data of the particular user, and as it is inside the iteration, yes, we can pass the object here. So if we go to here, I will mention the object here. Okay, Okay, and then URL, it should be like same URL with the delete mapping. I need to pass the ID. So this ID is available in the object itself, so I can mention obj.id. That's it. Okay, so this ID I am passing during the deletion. So register API get user delete user, so object.id and delete parameters, and yes, method delete and rest.json and this dot get user rest2. Okay, so yes, everything is working fine. Register API get user and delete user and the object.id and method.delete, everything is working fine. And get user means it will refresh the user once the delete is completed. Okay, anything is missing. Let me save the file and go to the project. Let me enable the inspect to check it's working fine or not. Okay, this is the one more issue. Is it so? No. Okay, so now let me click on the delete January 25. The reason is the table which we have created is getting simple issue. Let me close it and I will put the div where it is under the form. I will put this new table. Okay, so now let me click on the delete. Okay, my god, sorry. Okay, it is showing as 404 not found, which means like there is no API. Okay, so why it is showing request method is delete localhost 880 slash user slash id. We need to check slash user is fine, and then it is the user id. It is also, oh sorry, delete slash user id. Okay guys, okay, so it's a simple mistake of the URL slash user slash delete, and then you need okay, I think now it works. Now it worked definitely. Left it. Okay, it is working fine. Now I will enable the inspect, go to the console and close it, click on this delete. Okay, oh okay guys, yeah, as you can see it is working fine guys. So yes, deleted successfully, and then go to the list. The list is now only one. The previous user, I think the ID number 2 has been removed. So now as you can see here, we could see only one data is available. Okay, fine. And yes guys, so actually here, instead of directly going here, we may have a little confirm dialog. So confirm here, you can say, are you sure want to delete? Okay, so if he is not confirmed, we can say return false. Okay, so as it is React, we need to have a proper object oriented thing. Okay, so fine. Now let me try one more time. Super, cancel. It will not do anything. If I click OK, then only it goes for the delete. Otherwise it will not. This is like a simple confirmation for the delete, right? So that's what I have done it here. Okay, so now the two operations is completed, the delete is completed, and then listing is completed, which means in the CRUD operation, if you see the CRUD operation, we are having a read is completed and deletion is completed. Only thing is creation and then updation is still pending. That we will see it now. Okay, so now we will see how to create the account, or how to create the user. Okay, one more thing, I will start my server. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to create the users. Okay, so in order to create the users, as we know, like first I have done this on change. So whenever I am doing change in this input box, this will update the value. Okay, so this is the one which we have done. Next, the last is about whenever I am clicking this button, the create user, it will call the method called the register API, which will call here. Okay, this register API, and the name, address, email, mobile, date of birth, all this, all the field I have assigned based on the API. So if you go to our API documentation or the this one, so this is the expected request from the user or from the client. So name, address, email, mobile, DOB. Okay, these are all the fields are expecting from the client. So if you go to this request, as you can see here, it is also having all the field, and this field value is coming from the text box which we have done already, and we are using a state variable. So whenever I am doing a change in the text box, this will be updated to the state, and that variable will be updated to the particular object. Okay, so whenever I am clicking this button called register, sorry, where is the register? Yeah, this register, it will call the create user. Sorry, whenever I'm clicking this button, it will call the register API or create API. Okay, I'm just mentioning the name. If you want, we can edit it. So okay, so once the response came, it will be refresh the user. This is for get the new user list. Okay, so this is the new user list which helps us to refresh the list. Okay, so this is what about the create API. Okay, so now shall we try it out? So let me run the React. Okay, as you can see here, the two users are listed here. Okay, now let me create one more user called maybe like third user. Okay, this is the name I'm providing just for your understanding, and the name would be, sorry, email would be third user at gmail.com. Address is third user address, mobile number third user mobile, and then date of birth would be some random date of birth. So what I can provide, maybe May 10th I am providing. Okay, so create user. Yes, it's created. As you can see here, it whenever I'm clicking this button, it calls the API and it will refresh the UI also. If I refresh it, we could see the data is coming from here. Maybe I can open the workbench. So this is the workbench which stores the data in the database. So let me enable this one, and here select rows. Okay, so as you can see here, I am having a 3 users. Okay, so which is created in the YouTube. So now let me do one more thing. So here what I am going to do, I am going to create one more user for our understanding. So maybe like fourth user, and here fourth user at gmail.com, here fourth user address, fourth user mobile, and the date of birth some random. Okay, so create user created. If I refresh it, as you can see here, the fourth user is also created. Okay, initially before refreshing it has only 3, now it has 4. Okay, so our application, the 3 things has completed, which means listing the user, deleting the user, and creating the user. Okay, in the CRUD application, right? So if you see that CRUD application, it has 3 things, sorry, 4 things, sorry, confused. Okay, so here creation, update, read, update, delete. So now except the update, everything has completed. Maybe we will do it update now. Okay, so what we are going to do, update means we are going to update with the existing data, correct? So in order to do that, we are having a button called already edit. So by clicking this button, it helps us to edit the particular account. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to have a simple logic. Okay, so maybe here I will have update user. Okay, so what this update will do, maybe I will mention the function here. So like update, oh, it's already there. Okay, this is the one which we need to do. Okay, so here what we are going to do, whenever I'm clicking this edit button, it will get this details and append to this field. Okay, meanwhile this create user also will be changed into update again, because update means the user can able to edit, right? So here what we are going to do, by clicking the edit, it will load the data into the text box. Okay, so then once it load the value to the text box, whatever the value he wants to update, he will update. Then this button is also changed into update user. Okay, by clicking the update, it will call the update API along with other details. So this is what we are going to do. So for this thing, we are going to have some new parameters. So which means here we can have a edit state. So it can be, by default it can be false. So this state will be true whenever we are updating. Okay, so here I can change this. So this dot set state, and here I can mention, sorry, here I can mention edit state equal to true. Okay, so this is the one thing. And one more scenario is the object, edit objects or edit data, whatever the name you want you can mention. So here you can say edit object. So this object is initially empty curly brace. So here what we are going to do, whenever I am clicking this button, I am going to set the value as edit object colon, the value would be obj. Okay, that's it. So and also we need to add one more thing, which is called cancel, because if the user does not want to update the details, then he can able to cancel, right? So for this also I am going to have a cancel edit, but I didn't have the UI that I need to mention. I need to do it. So cancel edit. Okay, so in the cancel edit I don't need to do anything, just clearing the variables, that's it. Okay, so cancel edit, it's a edit state is false and the edit object is empty one, that's it. Okay, so now everything is completed. Only thing is like this one we need to do it. So when that this state is for not edit state, this is for the clearing state, sorry, edit state. Okay, so here I will have a simple condition. This is a React condition which helps us to hide and show the element based on the ternary operator. So here this dot state dot edit state, if it is true, then I will show this one. This is the coding optimization. Okay, so here as you can see here, when the edit state becomes true, it will update, it will enable this function. We can save cancel, we can have a cancel here. Super. And then when it becomes false, the edit state becomes false, it will show this button. Okay, fine. So anything, I think maybe we will check it out now. Okay, so this one. So here we can set the value, because whenever I click on this edit button, it has to load the details, right? And one more thing, the details we need to clear when the this data is in the creation of user. Okay, so when I'm clicking this edit, it has to load the details with the value. So what we can do, we can assign the value for the edit operations. So here I think we can set the value in the set state itself, but I will create one more thing because we don't want to create a complexity here. Okay, here what we are going to do, I'm going to mention the for field. Okay, so this is the field which we need to set. So copy and I will paste it here. And okay, so this name is as usual obj.name. Okay, this name is what is the current object, which is we are passing from here. No, this one we are mentioning here. And obj.email and obj.mobile and obj.address, obj.dov. Okay, so what this will do, this will set the value for the particular object, and let me save it. And here if you refresh it, okay, now let me click on the edit. Super, it is working fine guys. So update and cancel, but still we need to do some logic thing. But why this is not missing is, sorry, why the values are not showing is because in the React the value has to be binded only when we are using a this dot state dot email. Okay, like this we need to mention, otherwise it will not display the value. Let me save it and go here. Okay, now click on the edit. Okay, as you can see here, it is working fine. So name, update and everything is working fine. So now only thing is like whenever I am click on this update button, it has to, okay, so whenever I click on this update button, it has to update the API, call the update API. So where is update API? This is the update API. And if we go to the server documentation, okay, so this is update user ID. So update API will expect update slash user ID along with the request body. Okay, so where is the update user API? So this is the URL. So yes, because we are, while click on the edit button, we are setting the value in the edit object, right? This is what I'm using. So getting the ID from the edit object, which we have done, which we have set as already, and then here we will have a update and then this.json, and again this will refresh the user, as we know. Okay, this will, we will update the user all these things and get user all these things is fine now. Okay, let me save this one and go to the browser. Let me click on the edit. Yes, it is working fine. And here let me enable the inspect, because this inspect help us to do. Okay, I'm having one more client call, guys. I will complete. So here I will mention as update test. Okay, again still the UI has to done, and click on the update, because the two things, one is I am not passing the request body, which means the parameters, because we need to pass the parameter, no, one is missing. Okay, it's fine. Now we need to do two things. One is this entire thing we need to pass it. Actually we can mention as a reusable code, but okay, it's a simple project, so I'm not using a reusable project. Okay, let me save it and go here. Okay, so again, okay, refresh it. Does it has any issue? Yeah, okay, it is fine. Now click on the edit. Okay, so if name alone I'm updating, update name. Okay, now I open the inspect to check how the update is working fine. So here click on the update. Oh, it is working fine, guys. As you can see here, the update name is updated. Maybe the fourth user we will change it as update this one. Fourth user, update the name. Click on update. Okay, maybe before clicking update we will check the database. Okay, so here refresh it. Okay, as you can see here, this is the user, his name is fourth user. Okay, so now what we are going to do, I am updating as fourth user, update the name. Click on update. Yes, it's updates here also. Maybe if we go to database and refresh it, as you can see here, we get the update of the name. That's it. Okay, so this is how we can update all the details. Okay guys, so now it is working fine. That's it. Okay. Okay guys, so this is the final output of our application. So if I click this edit button, it will show the edit date, so the particular user, and here update and cancel. If I click cancel, it will be available here. If I click create user, it will create the user. Okay, if I click delete, it asks the confirmation, as we know already this thing. If I click cancel, it will not do anything. Okay, that's it. This is end of the application. And yes guys, thank you. If you have any doubts or anything, you can just post in the comments and I will reply it. If you want to follow me, or if you want to have any doubts, if you want a personal clarification, you can ping me on Instagram or LinkedIn. Okay, that, and also the source code of this application will be available in the description of the YouTube link. You can download it for free also. Okay, thank you.